Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's weekly Town Hall meeting, April 3rd, 2023. Thank you all so much for joining. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today's agenda is projects and development updates, documentation updates, and collaborations. Robinson, please start us off with project and development updates.
Starting with the blockchain updates. On the Peerplays legacy code base, we have been verifying the latest alpha version against Bitcoin, Hive, and Ethereum mainnets. So it's like we've taken the test nets and verifying against the mainnets of supported side chains. So we have successfully completed testing Hive sidechain functionality and proceeded with Ethereum where we had encountered certain errors, certain bugs. So price calculation or gas fee calculation was different from mainnet. So there were bugs, uh, not bugs, just one bug which we have addressed. The next step is verification of Bitcoin functionality, where we have introduced libbitcoin. So we're waiting for the Bitcoin mainnet to be synced and available to available available to us so that we can verify this. So that's on the legacy code base. Let's go to the next slide. On the Peerplays 2, the major update is that we have been upgrading the core substrate framework. So we right now we have the latest framework, and the DApp team who's helping us with verification, they have started verifying ink contracts. So originally we were verifying the solidity contracts, which runs inside an EVM. The ink contracts, or which is nothing but Rust based smart contracts, which runs uh, on inside the WASM environment. We have started verifying those as well. So from the looks of it, both are working as expected, which means we will be able to write smart contracts in Rust and run it directly on the WASM environment. And for the Solidity, we have an EVM, like an emulation running within WASM, and the Solidity contracts will run in there. So that is one aspect which is happening. On another development, we have been trying to integrate how substrate represents accounts and the Ethereum based address, Ethereum style addresses. So we had just started working on it, but then it looks like the Frontier project, which has provided us with the EVM support, it looks like they have implemented something very similar to what we are attempting to implement. So we are experimenting that. So what this means is that Substrate generally has one type of uh, account account name conventions, and on Ethereum there is a the address format is different. So we had challenges on integrating these two. Some of the projects like Moonbeam, they have a concept called unified accounts, but we wanted to do it uh, in a much better fashion, because projects like Moonbeam, they end up having to maintain their own versions of Substrate and various libraries. So we didn't want to do that. Uh, so that's a current focus, in addition to our research on how to implement the consensus changes. So in general, the most of the blockchain team, they have moved on to the substrate based work now. We only have a few verification items pending on the legacy code base, and once that is done, will have the entire blockchain team working on Paperless too. Okay, that's the blockchain related updates. Let's move on to the next slide. On the next, the production version remains the same. The major work is happening on In addition to various verification and QA efforts, the major work that is happening is on uh, adding support for Ethereum Suns. And also a few tweaks are required for the Suns related changes. So that's in progress. So this will happen. The delivery of these features will happen hand in hand with the mainnet upgrade. So the project is more or less completed, and let's say one feature and one changes for the sun's pending. That's what is pending in the next project right now. Let's move on to the next slide. So Together app, as I had indicated in the previous week, this is an application which we anticipate to help onboard a large number of users to the chain. And we've completed the design sprints, and we have a we have a concrete plan on how this app will look like, uh, how to onboard users and the target audience, etc., and also a monetization plan. Uh, More details will be shared in the future, but right now, the once we have the kickoff and everything done, we'll share more details. So right now we have, as I said, we've completed the design sprints and the UI design and user stories and identifying technology stack, etc. Those uh, that work will happen in the upcoming weeks. So that's the major updates from the development team. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Awesome. Sean, documentation updates, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everybody. So just a quick update this week. We have our Ethereum Suns install guide coming up. Pardon me, I got a cold right now. Anyway, also work on our risk register. And as Robinson was talking about, designs for the Together app MVP. And we are nearing our kickoff for that project. So very exciting. Also, more work continues on our peer view, working with GBC, and we are building some initial data designs on our test net. So that is my update for this week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean, and feel better. Jonathan, collaboration update, please.
Good morning, everybody. These are the collaboration updates for this past few weeks with Peerplays. So within standards, the Government Blockchain Association, we've made more contributions to the decentralized ID portion of their blockchain maturity model. That is still ongoing. There were also discussions in relation to the gaming blockchain maturity model module, which we are looking to start making contributions to as well. But those are only just getting started. So we're expecting to see some movement on that probably in sometime this summer. But for now, it's been primarily about the decentralized ID aspect. So that's all going well. Within community building, Avalon Meta with Scenes Plus community platform, which is the platform that we're utilizing for Peerplays community, and where we are integrating Peerplays itself into their platform. Talks on that are proceeding well. They've recently done some updates in relation to the platform itself and new features. We have team members who are still working on the specific specs for how token movements will happen within the platform itself. And so that is progressing. There were a number of calls on that front, and everything looks positive there. So looking forward to that continued development. And in the medical sector, there were meetings with Mars VR Labs. That is a project where they have a gamified VR rehabilitation platform which connect to Peerplays. This project is well underway. As in anything in the medical sector, it takes a long time for these types of things to actually get into the market. But these guys are making really positive strides. With their system, essentially, it helps for people to be able to rehabilitate using virtual reality. They've solved some major problems in regards to how that works that others haven't been able to solve in VR. And so the aspect where Peerplays comes in is basically in the community element of their system, which could also lend to other aspects, such as being able to have personalized data storage and other elements like that. So that's all proceeding rather well. And there was a new contact this past week. It's in the aeronautics space. It's still very new, so in terms of who this is with, it's still to be announced. The nature of the project revolved around aeronautical systems using ID control, basically having to do with the ability to be able to identify things like drones and airplanes and things like that. It's pretty up there in terms of like the regulatory elements to this, but the team that's been put together for this looks legit. And we were invited to the table in relation to being able to provide the blockchain elements. So Peerplays will certainly have a seat at the table. So, but this is very early, and we'll have to see how it all comes together. Regardless, it was something that developed this past week. So, moving along to dedicated team updates. This past week, we had a change in terms of no longer having 2 team members. One of them was our content head of marketing. That's why we didn't have the update this week. You may remember him, Michael. He was giving the updates within the town hall. The reason for this is because with all the developments that are happening with Peerplays and the work we're doing with the focus in the Together app, this is taking us in a different direction in terms of how we're going to approach marketing as well as how we're going to utilize resources. So that means that the way that we were going about things would no longer be required. And so we had to make these team changes. There was also QA chapter manager, Ashwin. So also because of the changes that we were having in regards to Peerplay's development team, this role was no longer necessary. So we had to end his contract. We still do have QA on staff, and so that will continue. But for Ashwin's role as QA chapter manager, that was something that we also had to remove. Those are the updates for this week.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. We had one question that came in from the community. Jonathan, this question would be for you. Could you guys make a roadmap for the next 2 years? What is your plan for Peerplays and to bring value to PPY over the next 24 months?
So yeah, in regards to roadmaps and plans, typically a roadmap for 2 years in crypto is like 20 years in business. It's with this space being so new, still bleeding edge, which means that whatever plans you may set out over the next 2-year period will certainly be impacted by externalities that are out of your control. So right now, you'd have to be living under a rock to not be aware of the major battles that are going on between old world tech giants, regulators, and the entire crypto space, to know that it's very unstable in terms of the terrain that we're facing. And these days, we see new types of threats emerging with that really no roadmap would ever be able to account for. No plan would be able to account for. So you can see that many projects within the crypto space even who have had these roadmaps and plans. They're completely destroyed, not for any fault of their own. I'm sure they came in with great intentions, but because of these externalities, it threw off everything they had planned. So this is something where we took a different approach, and we started taking this approach a couple of years ago. Rather than creating a roadmap in terrain with no roads, we focus instead on a vision map. Each year for the last few years, we've been refocusing our vision, taking into consideration the changing terrain and what's happened and what we learned as we venture through it. And that's really the best way you can go about it, because it allows you to be able to remain agile and being able to answer to the changing issues that will come as you go through this space. So in order to extract from that what kind of value PPY will have over the next 2 years, you'll need to essentially make your own speculation about the direction Peerplays is going, and if it has a market fit that will be unique to its category. Everything Peerplays is doing now is focused on creating its own category. So, and how it's going to thrive in that category. This is contrasting to how most of the crypto projects work. Some have already established theirs. You can think of Bitcoin, for example. They've established themselves as a store of value. Ethereum is really referred to as a category of finance, where you have DeFi and whatnot. That's where it's found its niche. And with Peerplays, as we've shared in the vision releases, it's primarily opportunity with all that has been learned and developed is in a form of organization. How we present that will change in time, but we'll be giving more on that over this coming year.
All right. If there's no more questions here, that concludes today's weekly town hall meeting. April 3rd, 2023. Thank you all so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great week. Bye.